Good evening, India. The war has finally begun. After all that waiting, phase one of a seven-phase election 2024 is now on. Since 7 a.m. today, 16 crore voters in this country have gone out to exercise their franchise, or at least we hope 16 crore have. I'm going to get you that data in just a bit. All of the details, the data, the tone, the tenor, and the turnout right here on Prime Time as we begin to decode and wind down phase one of elections 2024. Thanks for being with me, Shiv. This is 5 Live and these are the headlines. First phase of voting for the 18th Lok Sabha election of the country in full swing. 102 seats across 21 states and union territories went to the vote. 9 Modi mantris in the poll fray. Tamil Nadu dominates today. The southern state votes in a single phase. Voter turnout stands at over 51% until 3 p.m. DMK, Congress and BJP bigwigs cast their vote in the battle for Tamil Nadu.
Dividend politics have become money-minded, corruption, family politics, dynastic, caste politics. And today we believe Tamil Nadu will move to a new era of politics. And April 19th will make it happen, and June 4th will tell us that it has.
Home Minister Amit Shah files his nomination for India's election 24 from Gujarat's Gandhinagar. Shah expresses confidence of a third term for Prime Minister Modi, speaks exclusively to India today.
प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ हर जगह कमल को खिलाए और 400 पार का लक्ष्य जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं को मोदी जी ने दिया है, इसको सिद्ध करने में हमारी सफलता करें.
Congress versus left in Kerala explodes. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan mounts his attack against Rahul Gandhi, says the left isn't afraid of going to jail, unlike the Congress. BrahMos Shakti in the South China Sea. Huge milestone for India as the country delivers the first made-in-India BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles to Philippines as a deterrent to an aggressing China.
अब हम ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल को भी एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. इस मिसाइल का पहला बैच आज फिलीपींस जा रहा है.
Just about an hour to go for polling to end in phase one of elections 2024. Thanks for being with India today. We're starting off with some important numbers coming in of the turnout. We've got breaking news to give you a full sense of the turnout. 1 hour left to vote in phase one. 102 seats across 21 states and union territories in today's poll fray since 7 this morning. 51.01% voter turnout so far in Tamil Nadu till 3 p.m. Till 3 p.m., 51% voter turnout in Tamil Nadu. Remember, Tamil Nadu with 39 seats is voting in a single phase today and wrapping up election 2024. UP has witnessed, Uttar Pradesh, the other big state in the polls today, witnessed 47.44% voter turnout till 3 this afternoon. Uttarakhand stands at 45.62%. The Bengal voter turnout pretty high, 66.34% until 3 p.m. So these are figures until 3 p.m. of where things stand. 56% in Tamil Nadu until 3 p.m. Now, by far, with 39 out of the 102 seats that went to the vote today and are still polling right now for at least the next hour, Tamil Nadu dominates phase one. Today was by far about Tamil Nadu. This is, of course, not to belittle the other states, but the entire state of Tamil Nadu went to the vote today, all 39 seats. Just to give you a picture of what things actually looked like, those were the numbers of the 2019 share where the DMK, Congress combined basically swept the election. 39 seats in the Lok Sabha from Tamil Nadu to the DMK and Congress. But these are the biggies, the big faces, the VIPs, the well-known high-profile leaders whose fates are sealed today. Annamalai, the state chief of the BJP, who has lit up the media, TV screens and social media, can he make a mark? Dayanidhi Maran has called him a joker, going viral for that comment as well. The news agenda set here on India Today. A. Raja also with his comments and controversial attacks making news and headlines. Tamilisai Soundararajan, who had to step down as governor to fight from the Chennai central seat. And you also have T.R. Balu of the DMK, former union minister, who's fighting from the Sri Perumbudur seat just on the outskirts of Chennai. And finally, Vijaya Prabhakaran of the DMDK, the son of Captain Vijayakant, who is fighting from the Virudhunagar part of Tamil Nadu. So very, very interesting. Lots of stars, lots of celebrities, lots of action in the Tamil Nadu vote. Take a look at how polling has been so far and all the highlights in case you missed it. It's been a very, very high-octane day in the state of Tamil Nadu.
The fate of 950 candidates in 39 Lok Sabha seats of Tamil Nadu sealed. After a hard-fought campaign by the fronts led by DMK, AIA-DMK and the BJP, voters eagerly lined up at polling stations across the state on Friday, the first phase of nationwide elections. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, accompanied by his wife Durga, DMK leader Kanimozhi, who's fighting from Thoothukudi, and BJP leaders L. Murugan, a contestant from Nilgiris, and Tamilisai Soundararajan, a South Chennai candidate, voted in Chennai. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi cast his ballot at a local polling station, joined by former Chief Ministers O. Paneerselvam and Edappadi K. Palaniswamy and various other political leaders. Governor R.N. Ravi and Stalin encouraged citizens to fulfill their democratic responsibility.
I am immensely happy and proud to have participated in it. This mark is the most beautiful insignia of a citizen. And I would urge everyone, all citizens, especially the first-time voters, to take part in this festival with full enthusiasm, full zest.
In central Chennai, DMK's Dayanidhi Maran is fighting against BJP's Vinod P. Selvam. Maran also cast his vote.
This election is to rescue India from the forces which are trying to divide India on the basis of caste and religion. Enough is enough. How long are you going to divide India? We want India, a progressive India.
State BJP chief K. Annamalai cast his vote in Karur. Annamalai, who is the BJP candidate from Coimbatore, accused the DMK and the AIA-DMK of using money power to influence voters in the seat.
Madam, I'm very, very supremely confident now because people are coming out in big numbers and they want to support Modi ji in a big way. And they want a continuity at the center. They want a change in the state government. And I'm very, very clear that people, especially brothers and sisters, Modi ji scheme's beneficiaries and farmers, Yuva, all our mothers and sisters and all our poor mothers and sisters who want an upliftment in their life which Modi ji is doing. And this combination will make us to sail past the post.
Congress leaders P. Chidambaram and his son Karthi Chidambaram cast their vote in Sivaganga.
Nadu will vote for the India Alliance. The India Alliance, headed by the DMK and including the Congress in Tamil Nadu, will win all the 39 Lok Sabha seats in Tamil Nadu.
In the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the alliance led by the DMK won 38 of the 39 seats. While the India bloc is hoping for a repeat, this time they are facing a tough fight both from the AIA-DMK and the BJP. With Pramod Madhav, Nagarjun Dwarkanath, Shilpa and Saurabh in Tamil Nadu, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, I want to go across now to India Today's Shilpa Nair and Pramod Madhav. Both are heroes in Chennai who've been fronting what has been one of the most interesting elections, both for the levels of ambition, both for the levels of traction, both for the levels of attention that the, quote-unquote Delhi media has paid to Tamil Nadu this time and South India at large is actually incredible. Now, I come from, I'm from Chennai, I'm from Tamil Nadu, so for me this is also very personal. It's very good to see the amazing amount of attention that Tamil Nadu has rightfully been given during this Lok Sabha election. Pramod, to you first. Apart from the attention, the stakes in Tamil Nadu are very, very high. We've seen, we've seen the huge ambitions of the BJP, great amount of, media traction that Annamalai, etc. have gotten. But Stalin, when he spoke today, he sounded very, very confident, almost dismissive of anything to suggest that the DMK fortress can be breached. Pramod.
It surely is, Shiv. We just have less than an hour, and by like 3 p.m., we've come to know that 51.41% vote has been established. And right now, behind us is the kind of like a place where people are still coming and voting. And just like you mentioned, regarding the election, the first exclusive interview, the Chief Minister, he gave it to us. And while speaking to Rajdeep, he very clearly mentioned that DMK is going to be number 1, and the competition is only for number 2, and that is between AIADMK and BJP. We also had an exclusive conversation with Edappadi K. Palaniswamy, the General Secretary of AIADMK, who clearly mentioned that AIADMK is still a formidable force. And it's very interesting to see, you're absolutely right about the attention Tamil Nadu acquired. 7 times the Prime Minister was here. Even that became a criticism point for DMK at one point. And right now, the kind of statistics we could see, Dharmapuri, Namakkal and Kallakurichi are the districts where so far we've received more a large number of vote percentage. But unfortunately, the Central Chennai, North Chennai and South Chennai, there's almost a 10% difference between the top number 3 and bottom number 3 on the list. And yet we still have another, we are yet to get the 5 p.m. list, and also in another hour is there, and we're expecting that as the weather is turning a little bit pleasant, people might come out in large numbers and try to vote as well. CEO Satyabrata Sahu has said that all kind of measures have been taken for the voters to come and vote. We could see that very clearly, and there was a surprising factor I have to mention, Shiv. Throughout the day, we were covering leaders and we were going for the interviews and such. And throughout this month, we've been almost covering every other place in Tamil Nadu. But that fan frenzy that we used to see back in 2014 for Jayalalitha and 2019 when DMK brought this kind of the alliance with Congress once again, that fan frenzy I was only able to observe for Vijay, and that's something that has sparked in this election as a different kind of something extraordinary in this election, Shiv.
Very, very interesting. And one of the fun things about covering a Tamil Nadu election, both on the ground and from the studio, is you get to see so many recognizable faces. Tamil Nadu, remember, is the state that practically invented the film star politician, and we saw so many of them coming out today to vote. Always fun to see them stepping out to cast their franchise. Before I go to Shilpa, let's just play out for you the highlights of all the big icons who came out to vote today.
India celebrates the biggest festival of democracy. The first phase of voting for the 18th Lok Sabha elections took place in 21 states and union territories on Friday. It was a high-stakes battle in Tamil Nadu, where all 39 seats went to polls. Not only the common public, superstars also turned up to exercise their right to vote. Thalapathy Vijay, Rajnikant, Kamal Haasan, Dhanush, Vijay Sethupathi, Surya and many others cast their vote. The actors stood in the queue and waited for their turn. After voting, they showed off their inked fingers to the press, posing for clicks before making their way out of polling stations. These megastars had one message to their fans: perform your civic duty, cast your vote.
Everyone should participate. They should know about their candidates. That is myneta.com, that is Arapur, here come. We can know their candidates well before they come and cast their votes.
Bureau Report, India Today.
And I'll bring Shilpa in, and she was there when many of these stars actually came out. But Shilpa, 51% voter turnout till 3 p.m. A little less than an hour to go for polling to end. How does that number actually look? What kind of a voter turnout is 51? If you could just enlighten us on, how voter turnout trends have been in the past, and does this look healthy?
Well, Shiv, not just the stars, even we have voted, and I just want to show my ink finger here, and we appeal all our India Today viewers to go out and vote if they haven't done so as yet, because we have one more hour to go. And like you rightly pointed out, as of 3 p.m. today, the voter turnout in Tamil Nadu is around 51%. In the last couple of elections, if you see the recent elections in the past, Tamil Nadu has had an average of over 70% voter turnout in the last recent election. So we are expecting that number to reach around that figure. But of course, we are awaiting the 5 p.m. Voter turnout data from the Election Commission, and there's also one more hour to go. But as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, we've seen some districts like Dharmapuri, Kalakurchi, etc. voting in large numbers, whereas in Chennai, which is a largely urban constituency, we're seeing the voter turnout to be a little less compared to the other constituencies in the state. But of course, there's peak summer here, as you know, Shiv, and probably people are waiting for the sun to go down a bit so that they can come out and, cast their vote. And that is probably the reason why during the mid-hours, we saw a little bit of slowing down in terms of the voting in several constituencies and several polling booths. But it is, of course, expected to pick up in the next 1 hour or so, and probably we'll have the final figure by the end of the day today from the Election Commission. But of course, thankfully, no violence, no big clashes reported. The voting has been by and large peaceful, and that itself is good news. For all the three political parties, it's a high-stake battle, it's a prestige battle. While the DMK is extremely confident of repeating their 2019 sweep, for the BJP, this is about showing that they've truly arrived in the Dravidian line, because that's what they've been projecting all this while, that they have breached the Dravidian bastion. Have they done that? We'll know on June 4th. For the AIDMK, this election is to tell those, those who are doubting them that they're still one of the strongest parties on ground. They're still a formidable force. So for the AIDMK leaders say, come June 4th, we're going to surprise everyone who doubted us and our capabilities. So all of them really putting up a brave front, a confident front. Who amongst them will emerge victorious? People have voted. We'll know on June 4th, of course.
So can the DMK repeat its big sweep of 2019? Can the AIADMK prove that it hasn't splintered after Jayalalitha's death and is very much the Dravidian force to be reckoned with that it once was? And can the BJP finally make a mark? We're going to have to see June 4th, one of the most tantalizing elections this Lok Sabha. Shilpa and Pramod, thanks very much. Remember, less than an hour to go for polling. We'll keep you updated on that final turnout when those figures in. We're cutting across live now to Prime Minister Modi speaking live in Wardha in Maharashtra.
बाधाएं क्यों ना आए, मैं बहानेबाजी नहीं करूंगा, करके रहूंगा, तब जाकर के गारंटी निकलती है। मेरे लिए ये गारंटी 3 अक्षरों का खेल नहीं है। ये गारंटी के पीछे पल पल खपाने का इरादा है। पल पल आपके नाम, पल पल देश के नाम, 24/7 फॉर 2047। भाजपा ने अपने मैनिफेस्टो में कहा है, अगले 5 साल में गरीबों के लिए 3 करोड़ नए घर बनेंगे। देश के हर घर तक पाइप से पानी पहुंचेगा। और सबसे बड़ी बात मैं यहां सब मौजूद लोगों को कहना चाहता हूं, आजकल हर परिवार में कोई अपवाद नहीं होता है। हर परिवार, बुजुर्ग मां बाप होते हैं, दादा दादी होते हैं, चाचा चाची होते हैं, और घर में जो कमाने वाले लोग होते हैं, जो काम करने वाले लोग होते हैं, उनके सामने रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी भी होती है, उनके सामने अपने बच्चों के लिए कुछ करने का इरादा भी होता है, और ऐसे समय अपने बुजुर्ग मां बाप का ख्याल रखना, और उनको कोई न कोई तो बीमारी उस उम्र में आ ही जाती है, दवाई के पीछे, अस्पताल के पीछे खर्चा होता है। तो ऐसे हर परिवार को इस बोझ से मुक्ति देने के लिए हर 30, 35, 40, 45 साल के उम्र के व्यक्तियों को अपने परिवार में अपने सपना पूरा करने के लिए बोझ ज्यादा न करना सहना पड़े, इसलिए मोदी ने गारंटी दी है कि हिंदुस्तान के हर परिवार के 70 से ऊपर की उम्र के जो लोग हैं, उन सबको 5 लाख रुपए तक मुफ्त इलाज की जिम्मेवारी मोदी की रहेगी। आप पर ये बोझ कम होगा। ये बोझ उन बुजुर्गों को कहना, दिल्ली में आपका बेटा बैठा है, वो उठाएगा। अभी हमने गैस सिलेंडर दिए हैं, भविष्य में आपकी रसोई में पाइप से गैस पहुंचेगी। जैसे पाइप से पानी आता है, वैसे पाइप से। भाई गदाधारी, ओ गदाधारी, आपको देख लिया और फोटो भी निकल गई। आप नीचे रखो गदा, पीछे वालों को दिखता नहीं है। बजरंग बली की जय। आप पहलवान हैं क्या? हमारे तड़स जी तो पहलवान रहे हैं। देश के कोने कोने में वंदे भारत जैसी आधुनिक ट्रेनें चलेगी और देश बुलेट ट्रेन का सपना भी पूरा होते हुए देखेगा। चंद्रयान देखा, अब गगनयान भी देखेगा। साथियों, विकसित भारत देश की हमारी माताओं, बहनों, बेटियों के सशक्तिकरण के बिना असंभव है।
So only a few seats from Maharashtra go to the polls today. It's a state that has 48 seats in the Lok Sabha. Take a look at the numbers in the first phase in 2019. The BJP had won 3 seats. The Shiv Sena, which was undivided Shiv Sena, won 1, and the Congress had won 1 seat. The only high-profile contender in the first phase of this election is Nitin Gadkari, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari of the BJP from Nagpur, where he is the sitting MP. Now remember, Maharashtra has 48 seats currently underway in 5 Lok Sabha seats. Voting is on currently in 5 Lok Sabha seats in the 7th-phase elections. While casting his vote today, Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Fadnavis expressed confidence in the BJP winning the polls with a big majority. Now, Maharashtra, according to political pundits, is going to be one of the most interesting elections to watch. In the 543-member Lok Sabha, Maharashtra has 48 seats, the highest after Uttar Pradesh, which has 80. Union Minister Gadkari, like I just said, is in the fray from his home turf of Nagpur, also the headquarters of the RSS.
महोत्सव शुरू है। अभी अभी मैंने, मेरी पत्नी ने, मेरी माताजी ने, हमारे परिवार ने यहाँ वोटिंग किया है और मैं सभी जनता को अपील करता हूँ कि सभी लोग वोटिंग करे, लोकतंत्र को मजबूत करे, लोकतंत्र के इस महोत्सव में अपनी हिस्सेदारी दर्ज करे।
पूरे देश के नागरिक ये जो मतदान का अधिकार है ये उनका कर्तव्य भी है और एक प्रकार से एक जिम्मेदारी भी है और देश के सभी लोग मतदान का अधिकार पूरी तरह से उसका उपयोग करेंगे। और नागपुर में मैं खास तौर से मतदाताओं को अपील करूंगा कि यहाँ टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा है, इसलिए जल्दी आकर वो वोटिंग करें। और निश्चित रूप से मेरा विश्वास है कि पिछले बार 54% वोटिंग हुआ था, इस बार 75% तक वोटिंग ले जाने का हम सबका संकल्प है, उसमें हम कामयाब होने की कोशिश करेंगे। और मैं इस चुनाव में निश्चित रूप से बहुत बड़े मार्जिन से चुनाव जीतूंगा।
The whole mood of the nation, it comes in so many channels, comes in different ways people present it. I can tell you one thing, the mood of the nation is for development, the mood of the nation is for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership.
मतदान से हम अपने देश का 5 वर्ष के लिए भविष्य निर्धारित करते हैं एक तरह से, और इसलिए सब लोगों ने मतदान करना चाहिए। देश के इसको ध्यान में रखकर अपना विचार स्वयं करके मतदान करना चाहिए। और इसलिए आज सबसे पहला व्यक्तिगत कार्य मैंने ये किया है कि मैंने मतदान किया।
All right, let's go straight across to India. Today is Mustafa Sheikh joining us live from Nagpur. Nitin Gadkari, sitting MP, fighting for a return in the Lok Sabha from Nagpur. He's the big high-profile union minister among 9 union ministers in the fray during this first phase of polling. Mustafa, what did Nagpur look like today in the big vote? Tell us what today was like.
Well, Shiv, there are 5 seats in which this election is happening in the first phase in Maharashtra. It will be a long-drawn election in Maharashtra because it's happening in 5 phases. So among the 5 seats, the voter percentage is about below 50. By 6 p.m., it's likely to remain under 60%, which is not a very good start, Shiv, for Maharashtra in terms of voting percentage, because there are seats like Chandrapur, there are Naxal-affected seats like Gadchiroli, and these are seats which need a lot of development. And there, if the percentage of voting is lesser, it doesn't speak very motivationally. But at this point, for example, in Nagpur, in 2019, the voting percentage was about around 54 to 57%. Nitin Gadkari was hoping that this time it will be around 75%. But as of now, the voting percentage data which has come out, it doesn't seem so. We are in the final half an hour of voting. Let's see how the voting percentages reflect. If when you talk about the issues here, for example, it's a Vidarbha region of Maharashtra. Remember, before 2014, this was a stronghold or a safe zone for the Congress party. It has not been so in the last 10 years. Only the one lone seat which the Congress won in 2019 was from this region, which is the Chandrapur seat. So the Congress has high hopes. The MVA campaign was not very much unitedly seen in this election for this first phase, but Congress must be hoping that they are able to make a comeback. But yes, Nitin Gadkari again from the Nagpur seat is likely to make a comfortable comeback. How much will be his win margin is debatable, because Vikas Thakre, his opponent, is a very old hand in the local politics. He has been a Nagpur mayor previously, so he has considerably reduced Nitin Gadkari's margin. But there is a lot of developmental work, be it road, railways, industries, and hospitals, educational sectors, which has come up in Nagpur, nobody can deny. So yes, this is development versus the Congress raising these issues of saving democracy or strong opposition. So we'll have to wait and see which side the tides will turn. But as of now, it looks like in the 5 seat, the first phase, the Mahayuti seems to have upper hand. While we are speaking, PM Modi is in Maharashtra, is speaking in Wardha. So the BJP is taking Maharashtra very seriously, and we'll have to wait and see whether the results of it, the fruit of it, will be out on 4th June or not. Back to you.
48 seats, the second highest number of seats after Uttar Pradesh, which is the next state we're going to talk about. Thanks very much, Mustafa, for bringing us the update on that. Now let's talk about Uttar Pradesh. They always say it is via Uttar Pradesh that the road to power in Delhi actually passes, and it is not without reason. 80 seats is by far the biggest number of seats that Uttar Pradesh has in the Lok Sabha. These are the high-profile candidates in today's fray. Jitin Prasad, who takes over from Varun Gandhi as candidate from the seat of Pilibhit, Sanjeev Balyan and others are the key candidates in the fray in the first phase from Uttar Pradesh. Western Uttar Pradesh and other parts are all in the fray. 8 of the 80 seats. The first phase of Lok Sabha polls in UP, which is one of 3 states that is stretched across all 7 phases. Saharanpur, Bijnor, Kairana, Muzaffarnagar, Nagina, Muradabad, Rampur and Pilibhit. Now all eyes are, of course, on the Rampur and Pilibhit seats. Jitin Prasad, who quit the Congress party and joined the BJP, will take on the Samajwadi Party's Bhagwat Saran and the BSP's Anis Ahmed Khan. The seat is currently held, of course, by Varun Gandhi, the sitting MP from Pilibhit. Rampur is a crucial constituency for the BJP as it comes under the sphere of influence of jailed Samajwadi Party stalwart Azam Khan, who won the Lok Sabha election in 2019. However, in the year 2022 by-poll, following Azam Khan's conviction in several cases, the BJP's Ghanshyam Singh Lodhi emerged victorious.
कितनी सीटें इस बार मिलेंगी? देखो, सच बोलूं तो अभी तो पश्चिम की आसपास की सीटों का अंदाजा है।
8 सीटों पे है चुनाव।
हाँ, ये तो सारी आ रही है। इनका आइडिया सबका है। यहाँ मैं लगातार आता रहता हूँ, जाता हूँ। ये पक्का मान लीजिएगा 8 की 8 सीट यहाँ से हम जीत के जाएंगे। पश्चिम की हवा चलेगी। पश्चिम हवा बड़ी अच्छी हो, किसान के लिए बहुत लाभदायक होती है। कीड़े मकोड़े सब मर जाए। और जब पश्चिम से हवा चलती है, पूरा में जाते जाते आंधी बन जाती है। तो पश्चिम की हवा तो चलनी है। 8 की 8 सीटें हम जीत।
सबके जो मेरे घर पे आया उसके लिए मैंने काम किया, क्योंकि हमारी पार्टी का भी ये विजन है, माननीय मोदी जी का भी ये नारा है ना, सबका साथ सबका विकास के लिए हमारी पार्टी भी काम करती है और हमारी सरकार भी काम किया है। जो भी योजना चलाई है, सरकार को बराबर का हक हर एक व्यक्ति को मिला है, उसमें किसी के साथ कोई पक्षपात नहीं हुआ। माननीय मोदी, मुझे विश्वास है, क्योंकि यहाँ की जनता ने अब हिंदू मुस्लिम को त्याग दिया है, जो पहले होता था। अब तो विकास के ऊपर यहाँ जनता वोट करने जा रही है। अब वो देख रही है कि केंद्र में भी सत्ता हमारी है और प्रदेश में भी हमारी है, तो सत्ता पक्ष का अगर जनप्रतिनिधि चुनेंगे तो विकास होगा जिले का। अगर विपक्ष चुन दिया तो विकास नहीं कर पाएगा। तो इसलिए जनता बड़ा सोच समझकर फैसला ले रही है अपनी ओर।
ऐसा है, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी है। यहाँ पार्टी का शीर्ष नेतृत्व से लेकर कार्यकर्ता हमेशा जनता के संवाद, सुख दुख का साथी और तैयार रहता है। यहाँ कोई समय की कोई कमी होती नहीं है। यहाँ अगर 15 दिन मिले चुनाव प्रचार के लिए, 15 मिनट भी पर्याप्त हैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए। ये विपक्ष हैं और उनके नेता हैं जो अपने एसी कमरों से चुनाव के दौरान बाहर निकलते हैं मंचों पे और भाषण देके चले जाते हैं। जनता उनको नकार देती है।
अपना तो मुझे वोटर्स से मुझे उम्मीद है कि वो लोग मेरी ईमानदारी की मेहनत को देखकर और जो हमारे मुद्दे हैं और जो सरकार का कुशासन रहा है पूरे 5 साल का और 10 साल कह लीजिए डबल इंजन की सरकार का, उसको देखते हुए मुझे उम्मीद है कि हमारा साथ देंगे और हमें वोट देंगे। बस एक जो कंसर्न है वो यही है कि जो चुनाव है वो प्रशासन दबाव में ना होकर उसको फ्री एंड फेयर कराए, ताकि आज का दिन हम सब के लिए बेहतर रहे, क्योंकि सारे दिन एक तरफ और आज की मेहनत एक तरफ है। तो वोटिंग का दिन महत्वपूर्ण है और ये फ्री एंड फेयर हो तो बेहतर है।
फर्स्ट फेज के अंदर बीजेपी बिल्कुल साफ है। फर्स्ट फेज में बीजेपी मुझे नजर नहीं आ रहा कि कोई सीट जीत पाएगी उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर। फर्स्ट फेज में बहुत मजबूत स्थिति में हम। इस बार मुझे समाज के सभी वर्गों का समर्थन मिल रहा है। अच्छा, समर्थन कुछ होता है कि चुपचाप बोल कर दे दिया, साहब ठीक है जी वोट दे रहे हैं, वोट दे भी देते हैं, लेकिन जब समर्थन आपको ढोल बजाकर मिलता है ना और कंधों पर उठा के दौड़ा के मिलता है, तो आपकी जो है ना वो ताकत अंदर से आती है। तो इसलिए जो कॉन्फिडेंस है वो अंदर से बोल रहा है कि चुनाव वाले दिन मैं बिल्कुल रिलैक्स होकर के बैठा हूँ, सुकून के साथ आराम से देख रहा हूँ कि हाँ ठीक हो रहा है काम।
आज पूरे देश में मोदी में माहौल है और ये उत्तर प्रदेश में भी जो समाजवादी टीपू और सामंती सुल्तान संविदा सरकार का सपना देख रहे हैं। संविदा सरकार मतलब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सरकार, कि भैया तुमको हम 6 महीने बना देंगे, तुमको हम 4 महीने बना देंगे, तुमको हम 5 महीने। आज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सरकार नहीं बल्कि परफेक्ट सरकार देश चाहता है। और नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में आज जो पूरे दुनिया में हालात हैं, जिस तरह की उथल पुथल है, जिस तरह के हाहाकार मचा हुआ है, ऐसे हालात में कोई संविदा सरकार नहीं, कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की सरकार नहीं, बल्कि परफेक्ट सरकार चाहिए। स्टेबिलिटी के साथ, कैपेबिलिटी के साथ काम करने वाली सरकार चाहिए। और वो नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इस बात को कर करके जांचा परखा खरा नेतृत्व है और उस नेतृत्व के प्रति लोगों का विश्वास है। और वो नेतृत्व ऐसा है जिसकी गारंटी को लोग जो है वो 100% अपने विकास की गारंटी के रूप में देख रहे हैं।
And India Today's Amit Bharadwaj joins us live from Rampur in Uttar Pradesh, crucial seat where the sitting MP is from the BJP, but the sphere of influence in Rampur has been the Samajwadi Party, Azam Khan factor. How's it looking this time, Amit, in Rampur and the surrounding areas?
Shiv, you know, Rampur is a quite interesting constituency. As you mentioned, the sitting MP from Rampur is a BJP non-Muslim MP. And why I'm emphasizing this fact is that Rampur has a majority Muslim voter bank. And in fact, if you look at the polling station, even right now, the voters are still chipping in, you know, in the last moment, last half an hour of voting is happening. And the voters are continuously coming to this particular polling booth, the Raza Inter College, which also used to be the polling booth of Azam Khan and his family, will also cut across to these voters. But before that, you know, I've traveled to the rural landscapes of Rampur as well. There are 5 assembly constituencies in Rampur, Swar and Chamrawa. These are 2 assembly constituencies which are still believed to be the stronghold of the Samajwadi Party. And this time around, Samajwadi Party decided to field, you know, Mr. Nadvi from here, despite the disapproval from the Azam Khan family. The reason was that he belongs from the Turk community from Muslim community. So the Turks hold a very strong social capital in Rampur, and that is an experiment being tried by the Samajwadi Party, hoping that it might become successful. On the other side, you know, it all depends on the election mechanism, the electoral mechanism of the parties, because in city the voting is quite low. I'm just taking one comment from the voters, Shiv, out here. आप लोगों का जो वोट है, हालांकि शहर में बहुत कम वोटिंग हो रही है गांव से कंपेयर करें तो, किन मुद्दों पे वोटिंग चल रहा है यहाँ पे शहर में?
मुद्दों पे सबसे पहले चीज़ यही है कि कारोबार, और जो है कारोबार बिल्कुल डाउन है, उसकी वजह से है, और जॉब वगैरह के लिए, इन्हीं चीज़ों के लिए चल रहा है।
आप लोगों के क्या मुद्दे रहे मैम? नहीं बोलना चाहेंगे इस तरफ? जल्दी से बताइए, जो चुनावी मुद्दा रहा शहर में, क्या रहा? क्योंकि लड़ाई तो बता रहे हैं कि 2 पार्टियों के बीच है यहाँ पे।
यहाँ सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा बेरोजगारी का है। रामपुर में कोई रोजगार नहीं है, कोई कारोबार नहीं है। पहले बीड़ी का, कारचौप का काम था, अब वो भी खत्म हो गया। अब सिर्फ यहाँ पर चार्जिंग रिक्शा का काम है, वो बेचारे लोग चला रहे हैं, बाकी बेरोजगारी बेइंतहा है।
So you just heard from the voters as well, Shiv. But, you know, it all depends on who has the last man standing at the polling station to ensure that their voters are turning out at the polling stations. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Amit. Interesting election in Uttar Pradesh. Remember, Uttar Pradesh is one of the 3 states that has been stretched across all 7 phases. The other is West Bengal. West Bengal also went to the polls today, but only in 3 seats across the entire state today. But here's what things looked like in phase 1 of the 2019 election. The BJP actually won 3 seats at that time, finally ending up with 19 seats. It was a bit of a shocker for the Trinamool, but in phase 1, the BJP had the edge. In today's phase 1, Nishit Pramanik, Union Minister, is the contender from Cooch Behar, where he is the sitting MP. So very, very interesting. It's a hard-fought election in Bengal, which has been defined by a degree of viciousness. Phase 1 polling was no less. It began in Bengal along with violence. Multiple incidents of conflict from Cooch Behar in North Bengal, with the BJP alleging attacks by Trinamool cadres. The BJP alleged that Trinamool workers pelted stones on voters to stop them from reaching polling booths, just to disrupt peaceful exercising of their franchise. In another incident, a bomb was recovered from a BJP Neta's home in Cooch Behar, with the BJP claiming it was hurled by Trinamool workers. The BJP claims one of its workers was attacked by the Trinamool in Cooch Behar on the eve of phase 1 elections, and that the BJP worker suffered huge injuries, currently undergoing treatment. The Trinamool, however, has said that this is rubbish. They've pointed a finger directly at Minister of State at the centre, Nishit Pramanik, the contender from Cooch Behar, claiming he's sheltering goons and hoarding firearms.
काफी मशक्कत आपने किए थे, चुनाव की माहौल कोच बिहार में किस तरीके से है?
देखिए, मैं कहूंगा कि पिछले वर्ष से तो ठीक ठाक है, लेकिन फिर भी वायलेंस है और तृणमूल कांग्रेस रहेगा और वायलेंस नहीं रहेगा ऐसा हो नहीं सकता है, क्योंकि ममता बनर्जी 4 से 5 बार यहाँ पर आया और लोगों को प्रोवोक किया, तृणमूल कांग्रेस के गुंडे को एकत्रित किया और उन लोगों को प्रोवोक किया ताकि वायलेंस कैसे ज्यादा कर पाए, इनका उन लोगों ने व्यवस्था किया। तो मैं कहूंगा इस बार का जो है प्रतिरोध जो है, प्रतिवाद जो है आम जनता कर रहा है और निश्चित रूप से आम जनता इनकी जो आंखें दिखा रहा है तृणमूल कांग्रेस, इसकी आंख में आंख डालकर लड़ाई करेंगे और जो है जनता जनार्दन भरपूर पूरी दोनों हाथ भरकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी को आशीर्वाद।
बीजेपी को यह पता चल गया कि वो बुरी तरह हारने वाला है, इसलिए फ्रॉम फर्स्ट आवर उन लोगों ने ये संतरास, ये हुलीगनिज्म का रास्ता को चुन लिया और हर एक जगह में हमारा तृणमूल कांग्रेस का जो कार्यकर्ता है उसको बुरी तरह पीटा जा रहा है। बीजेपी डर के मारे ऐसा कर रहा है क्योंकि वो फर्स्ट आवर से पता चल गया कि इस तीनों कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में बीजेपी बुरी तरह हारने वाला है।
कोच बिहार की इलेक्शन हम लोग चाहते हैं कि अच्छी तरह हो, बट ये बिल्कुल नहीं हो रहा है। यहाँ बूथ के नजदीक 10 मीटर के अंदर ही जो पार्टी ऑफिस, तृणमूल का पार्टी ऑफिस, वो अभी तक भी खुला हुआ है। हॉस्पिटल में अभी पेशेंट जो इंज्योर है वो आने लगा है, हॉस्पिटल तो अभी भर जाएगा। और क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है? वायलेंस हो रहा है, इतना सारा वायलेंस। इलेक्शन तो सारा दिन, अभी तो पूरा दिन के दिन बाकी है और भी इलेक्शन के बाद भी और भी परिस्थिति इतना बुराई होगा, ये बोलने का बात ही नहीं रखता है।
Now, West Bengal, remember, is a fascinating state. In 2019, the BJP, with a very, very ambitious campaign, had managed to completely stun the Trinamool and bag 19 seats. Of course, those numbers have shifted somewhat with some people crossing over to the ruling party. But the BJP this time has made it a point through its leadership to say that in West Bengal, a shocker is afoot. Ritik Mondal has been reporting from Cooch Behar. Ritik, you know, the kind of violence that one has almost begun to expect from West Bengal on polling day most certainly did happen today in Cooch Behar. Nishit Pramanik, the sitting MP of the BJP from Cooch Behar, also a union minister, you know, being accused by the Trinamool of sheltering thugs. But zooming out from Cooch Behar, Ritik, tell us about the sense you're getting after phase one. The BJP, whether it is Amit Shah or Narendra Modi or the others, have always had special things to say about Bengal. They say that this time it's going to be even bigger, probably even a big upset for the Trinamool.
Well, definitely, Shiv. First of all, that once again, the election in Cooch Behar has been marred by violence. And on the other hand, that what we do see today, that, 3 Lok Sabha seats, particularly in Cooch Behar, Alipurdar and Jalpaiguri, 3 prime seats of North Bengal, which had voted for Bharatiya Janata Party during 2019. And that was the first time BJP made a major victory and a footstep in the land of West Bengal. And these all seats were for Bharatiya Janata Party. After the, it's just a hour now that the polling for the first phase election is going to end. But what we can see that we are continuously following and trailing that Nishit Pramanik convoy. He's traveling across the city from the length and breadth of Cooch Behar. Let me tell you, BJP is very confident. We try to focus on which party will gain power from these 3 particular North Bengal seats. BJP is quite confident, but at the point of time, also TMC is eyeing very high this time, because they believe after 2021 they have significantly managed to restore their lost land from North Bengal, which is why they are no less for fighting. Let's see what happens.
Thanks very much for getting us that update. We'll catch up with you at your next stop as we continue to track the last few minutes of phase one. But we've got breaking news, very important for us to update our viewers about the turnout figures in phase one of the election. Minutes before polling ends in phase one, until 5 p.m. Overall voter turnout stands at 63%. 63% is the overall voter turnout till 5 p.m. Tamil Nadu has registered 62% voter turnout till 5 p.m. The highest voter turnout so far is West Bengal. So far, 77.57%. 3 seats, only 3 seats in Bengal went to the polls today. But the voter turnout registered so far till 5 p.m. is 77.57%. 63% is the average voter turnout across the 102 Lok Sabha seats that went to the polls today as part of phase 1. Let me go straight across to India today. Is Aishwarya Paliwal joining us from Alwar in Rajasthan as she continues to report. Alwar, one of the seats that went to the polls today, 63% overall turnout today. Aishwarya, break it down, decode for us what this figure actually means. 63% overall voter turnout. The highest has been in Bengal, 77.57%.
Well, definitely, Shiv, we are seeing it's West Bengal, the state which is at the moment leading the race. And these are numbers just till 5 p.m. The voting will go on till 6 p.m. Just a couple of minutes left for the voting to end. From what we are expected, this number will actually go up, which means that people are turning up in large numbers, not just in one state, but in all the states. If we speak about the state where I am at the moment in the state, almost 50% voting has taken place. Here in Alwar, if we speak about it, the number is close to 45%. We are expecting numbers to go out. Shiv, definitely this means that in large numbers, people are turning up, and this is a trend that the Election Commission also believes now will continue in all the 7 phases. Shiv.
All right, Aishwarya, thanks very much for getting us the latest on that. So 63% overall voter turnout until 5 p.m. But there obviously is a big surge of voters. The sun has come down. It's a little cooler in the evening. So large numbers of people obviously rushing to their polling stations to get their vote in. And I urge everybody to try and do that if they can and if that seat is applicable. And a story that I didn't want to get lost amidst all the election coverage. India scored a huge defense milestone today by delivering the first made-in-India BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles for the anti-ship role to their first export customer, Philippines, today. The missiles landed today and will be part of extensive coastal batteries, even as Philippines has friction with China in the South China Sea. This is a big geopolitical message by India to China, with the first made-in-India missiles now in the South China Sea and a direct notice to warships from that country. That's the BrahMos, and India has arrived in the international weapons export market. Well, thanks very much for watching. We'll continue to track the end of phase 1 of elections with Akshita on the other side. Stay with us.